National Youth Service Corps, NYSC, to 2 years. The Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, last week canvassed the extension of the mandatory National Youth Service Corps from 1 to 2 years. The minister was speaking when the Director General of the NYSC, Brigadier General Olakunle Nafiu, paid in a courtesy visit at his office in Abuja. And according to the minister, he stated that it will be proper that the NYSC's can currently practiced for 1 year be extended to 2 years to serve adequately. His call was anchored on the fact that there needs to be an expansion of the skills acquisition and entrepreneurship development training and content for corps members. He also advocated the deployment of more graduate teachers to serve in rural schools, which according to him will fill the manpower gap that is needed in the schools. This is coming at a time where other commentators have called for the scrapping of the NYSC. By the way, we should establish a background that the core NYSC was established in 1973 under the then administration of General Yakubu Gowon as head of state. And this was when Nigeria was transiting from the experience of civil war. And the core, the scheme was intended to serve as an integration platform for all Nigerians across the country. What are the ways that the core can be strengthened to make it function better? This call for it to be extended to 2 years. Now, is it timely or is not timely? And of course, if it is extended eventually, to what extent will it serve its goals? These are the issues we shall try to interrogate the lecturer in the Department of Felix Boa is our guest on the program. Thank you very much for joining us, Dr. Boa. Welcome to Perspectives.
Thank you very much, Nathaniel, and thank you, listener.
State axis. Of course, it is the students that are often prospective corps members. So he's here to weigh in on the subject matter as well. It's Nathaniel Nongu welcoming you to this Monday edition of Perspectives. And if this may be your first time tuning into the program, kindly be informed that Perspectives is audience participatory. At 10 o'clock, we allow you, the listener, to phone in and offer your thoughts on what we are discussing. The number through which you can reach us is 0814-335-9292. The number, once again, is 0814-335-912699. Also available on WhatsApp, website on www, and on social media app that avails you the panelists and callers. Please stay with us. We'll take a short breather, and when we are back, our discussion begins right away. Welcome back from that short break. Let me begin with you, Dr. Boa, and pointedly, would you say the NYSC established since 1973, has it served its usefulness for the country, or it should be scrapped as other persons have advocated over time?
Yeah, thank you very much. I will uprightly say that the essence of NYSC scheme or program over the years, since 1973, over 75% have actually been serving Nigerians very well because some of us also went through the scheme and it benefited us and benefited those around us, those communities we served in. And even our parents also appreciate the fact that the scheme helped us where we were out for 1 year. We came back with different, reasoning, perspective, and ideas that impacted them. And Nigeria also confessed that over these years, the scheme has actually helped formation of our youth, have impacted our youth, key acquisition by our youth. Sometimes, as Nigerian, we have programs like election, programs like census, and all whatnot. The scheme has been weighing in to help, attain the objective or aims of various programs initiated by the federal government of Nigeria. So for me, I would not call for the scrap of the program, but rather I will call for strengthening the program and making sure that it serves the purpose of which it was established, the mandate for which the scheme was established.
Okay. Now, comrade, let me also have your thoughts. What do you make of the relevance of this scheme since its establishment?
Well, thank you. I think the NYC, one cannot say 100% that it has been able to achieve, has been very instrumental to national development, such as national integration and unity. For instance, you serve in communities where you were not born and brought up, then you get to interface with members of that community, you learn their language, their culture, and then you have varied perspectives and insights to life. So that is one. And two, like the lecturer mentioned, the scheme has been very instrumental in helping the nation through several programs like the census, election, where core members are deployed, during election, during census and all of that. You could tell that the essence of that is for national development, and they are serving the nation. So it's still the same thought that instead of scrapping it, we can overhaul it. So tilted to national priorities. That's my thinking.
All right. So it's quite interesting that both of you, from your standpoint, would you say to what extent has it Yakubu Gowon funded the NYSC, Dr. Bola?
Yeah, we may express the extent of achievement in percentage anyway. Though we do not have the statistics to say that this from this angle, this is how much percent we have achieved. But for me, by my assessment,
yes,
over 70% have been achieved through the program. We have mentioned that from the background of our discussion, of our initial presentation, that of a call, ethnic groups and all that were united. That has brought us together. Which is the essence of the program. Different angles. Then it's also enjoying it because they enjoyed and so on and so forth. So to a large extent, overhaul, as the case may be.
Okay. Now, comrade, the same aspect of national integration, you also mentioned it. To what extent is that objective being pursued or achieved since the establishment of the scheme?
Well, thank you. The temptation is that we have issues at the national level where our unity is threatened, not essentially by the core members, but by politics. It has amplified our tribal lines. So one is tempted to say that national NYC has not been living up to its expectation in terms of national integration and unity. But then if you look at it critically, it has helped in a way to strengthen our unity and also blow our fault lines, ethnic fault lines, I must say. So the thing is, there are a lot of persons who have married across tribal lines, and largely because of the NYC scheme. And so you're going into a state where you are not born and brought up, you interact with people, with cultures, you try to understand them and then fathom how they behave the way they do. So to that extent, it helps in national integration. But like to national priorities. But to me, I think national integration shouldn't be the principal objectives of NYC in the face of the economy, in the face of education and technology. So it can be tilted towards this novel area. National integration is still at the forefront of that. But then we can also tilt it to, address other, issues currently.
All right. Now, Dr. Paul, let's look at the instant case, which the call for the extension of the NYC to 2 years. Currently, the mandatory National Youth Service, as well, both of us are aware, is 1 year. And here is the minister of the scheme to 2 years for call members to participate. Do you see the relevance of extending the mandatory National Youth Service to 2 years as against the 1 year currently being used?
Yeah, actually, for every proposal, there's always the pros and cons.
Yes.
The advantages and disadvantages attached to any proposal presented before people for the growth of the people or the organization, as the case may be. But for me, as a person and as an educationist, I would not fully support the issue of 2 years of mandatory service for graduates as against 1 year. See, Nathaniel, the problem of Nigeria is not programs or plans or policies. We have beautiful plans, policies, and programs. Sometimes we copy them directly from foreign nations or developed nations. And sometimes when we copy these programs, we fail to implement the programs that they are supposed to be implemented. That is where our problem lies. So the issue of NYSC is not the issue of extension of years, duration or period from 1 year to 2 years. Remember, core members are already trained in their various disciplines, in their various universities. Remember, in our universities too, we have general courses that borders on entrepreneurship, that borders of societal development, that borders on even integrating ourselves as a nation. But the 1 year is meant now to ventilate what we have learned and see how practically, in the real world situation, you understand now, we see how it is by mingling or moving to other states where we've not been before, mingling with other tribes that we've not been our tribes, and see what they do. We give them, they give us, we come back, and this thing, is mingled, and we grow. So the issue is not the issue of years. The issue is the issue of the efficiency and effectiveness of the implementation of the program. Very, very critical. How has been the program? If you look at the objective of the program, very clean, very wonderful. They are meant for the good of the nation. And 1 year is enough for any serious student or graduate or any serious organization like NYSC to put the graduate through so as to impact society. So for me, adding 1 year, already the entrepreneurship content coders that were invited by United Nations to craft that, infuse the entrepreneurship content in our secondary schools in Nigeria, in Abuja, about 2 programs right at the level of secondary school. And in the university, it is there. Nations of the world that are developed, I want you to understand that they are about innovativeness, interpreting about even the current use of that. If Nigeria want to achieve in 1 year, as a program, NYC program, and graduates will go home with something. Some of us did the youth service now. I gained so much. I acquired new skills. A lot of soft skills I acquired when I was serving as a corps member. I learned how to operate the computer when I was serving. And that was the first source of income. I came back through computer, operation and packages. I was able to buy my first car in life. And this skill was acquired when I was serving in Sokoto State, very far from here. But the issues are there, issues of this value system. Themselves. What about even the officials of the service? We know all the shortcuts that were going on and still going on right now. We know. So if only we are sincere, this program, if within 1 year, it will serve us. Because if we want to extend it to 2 years, what about the cost implication? What about those who even have to pursue their careers? You are wasting that time for 2 years, this thing, whereas already they would have started their career, pursuit of their career, to fulfill their career. There are so many disadvantages also attached to that. So for me, my view is that 1 year is okay, but the only thing is that let it be restrengthened. Let those areas be looked into. The areas of skill acquisition and self-reliance, the area of infrastructure development, the area of national unity and integration. Let these areas be strengthened and proper monitoring or supervision be done. You see that it will yield the fruits that are supposed to be yielded at the end of the day. Thank you.
All right. Now, Comrade Yahya, you are a student union leader, but oftentimes every student may eventually, at least for those who are within the age bracket, prospective core members, speak to us. Are you in support for the extension of the NYSC mandatory service year beyond the 1 year as it is currently?
The Minister of Education, first of all, perspectives. So we'll be able to, come out with 1 year to 2 years. First, there are those who feel that it's going to take their time for 1 year to 2 years, especially those who stay abroad, those whose parents are rich, They will want a situation where they can, in fact, some of them, if they have their way, they will even boycott the NYSC. They want a situation where they will just do their NYSC, get into the system and start working because their parents are prepared, jobs and all other opportunities for them out there. But what about the children of the masses, those who are not well-to-do, the middle class, who are even looking at this scheme as a way of sustaining themselves momentarily? Of course, you understand that we are dealing with the issue of high unemployment. So there are those people who feel that it will waste their time, most especially those from the rich background, those who go to school in foreign countries. They want to come back, do the NYSC, then go back and start their career and all of that. But one of the drawbacks of that perspective is that, for instance, you're serving at the age of 24, and then you have 2 years to serve your nation. Now, by the time you finish the NYSC scheme, you will be 26 years. And when applying for some jobs, they will tell you that if you are above 25, you cannot apply for it. So this is where this policy proposal clashes with the national policy of application to different jobs. So if they would be sincere with this policy, then they would have to also look at the situation of the age bracket for application of jobs and some other things. So if that clause is removed, that if you are above the age of 25, you cannot apply for certain jobs, and then whether you are 24, 25, once you have the competence and the capacity, you can apply for any job of your choice. Then 2 years of this is not bad. Now, another perspective is this. I'd like to let you know that this suggestion of extension of service years from 1 year to 2 years is not a novel idea. Researchers, it's just a recommendation by some researchers in political science and good governance. I have read it in several, published articles where experts are recommending the extension of service year from 1 year to 2 years. And one of the principal reasons they are giving is that one, defend the nation in the case of emergency. They will add to the reservists in addition to the already existing capacities to respond to emergency situation. So then another year can be used for practical aspects of whatever one has learnt while in school. You are aware of the fact that a lot of courses in tertiary institutions, they are merely theories. And so many persons, they will graduate, and then the practical aspects of it, they are not well to do. Of course, I'm aware that we have entrepreneurship content of a course, but then most of these entrepreneurship courses are not in depth to address our national priorities, such as nanotechnology, artificial intelligence, and some other things we'll need in order to catch up with other nations of the world. So the second year can be used for the practical aspect of it, and I'll demonstrate it. For instance, I studied English education, and so if I am a core member, and the second year will be able to equip me with the practical aspects of using technology for instruction, I should be able to use the latest technology that will aid my teaching of the English language. The same thing goes to someone who has studied economics, someone who has studied mathematics and other courses like that. In that situation, the advantage is that the NYSC can be a source of a smooth transfer or transiting from theory to practice. And NYSC can also begin to leverage that opportunity by connecting with other agencies and organizations where they know these agencies and organizations are aware that NYSC is doing a lot of job training, core members with practical skills and requisite experience needed in the labor market. There will be a transition from the university to the market world. So, and for the fact that though you can't compare it to other nations of the world, but to us Nigerians, it's a good improvement. And then you have the children of the masses, which constitute the majority of the core members, having opportunity. They are looking for opportunity to do something, and then you are paying them 77,000 for 2 years. And then their thinking is that they will be able to save 1 or 2 at the end of the NYSC. So that immediately after NYSC, they will be able to establish themselves, or maybe establish a business as an individuals or as groups. So, in fact, when this NYSC allowance was increased, if you go through social media, you see a lot of, Nigerian youths, prospective corps members, who say, I wish, can I go back and do NYSC again? So that is to tell you that now the allowance is attractive. And there are also others who are saying that, okay, they were supposed to go to NYSC, but spillover delayed them. Now they have the opportunity of doing this because the allowance is 77,000.
Are they taking into cognizance the economy of the present time?
Come to that. Let him learn.
So what I'm seeing is that, do you understand? From the underprivileged background, want this kind of extension, then I see no reason why it's a bad idea for the extension. Only that I'm happy that this kind of it's a public debate. So I think the government is also listening to us.
Yes.
So that it is just like aggregation of ideas in order to remodel NYSC to fit and address our national priorities. So if you extend it, and I also want to suggest that if they want to implement this kind of program, what I suggest is that the federal government should also set aside a fund, let's say 500K per each corps member upon graduation after 2 years to establish a business. That is one. Two, that while you are serving, if you have proven, especially the first class students, those with second class upper, and with practical skills in the second year of the distinct, the NYSC can recommend to organizations and even federal civil service, so to ensure a smooth transfer of brains, expertise into these agencies and federal government parastatals. It will help us, and it will go a long way in order to address, one, the issue of unemployment, issue of lack of manpower to work at different organizations and agencies. So in conclusion, I support the extension of a 2 years distinct if the federal government will be able to remove the age clause so that you are not disadvantaged by the time you are done with your NYSC. You are serving your NYSC, and when you are back, the government is telling you that you are above the age of applying for certain jobs. If that clause is removed and certain conditions are met, I think it's a good idea.
All right. Of course, I love your submission. I was with media how if God wants to work in His way, or in your way, somebody graduated, he has had spillover, and while he is waiting for spillover to clear and go for youth service, corps members' allowance have been increased to some of this. Okay, so maybe it could have been God waiting for you. In any case, corps members are earning maybe higher than even the minimum wage for the country. Now, Dr. Boa,
yes,
you listen to your co-panelists who is speaking in support of this idea of getting the extension of youth service, and he touched on several issues. You listen to him, even the experience gap, closing it in terms of employment during these 2 years. How do you reconcile that based on your earlier submission along with his?
All right. As I earlier on submitted, the issue of the program, NYSC program, is not the issue of years.
Yes.
It's the issue of commitment, dedication, and sincerity of the system. It's not the issue of years. All that he has mentioned can be done in a year. Remember, NYSC is not an institution typically established to ventilate employability of in the course of the program in one way or the other, and also at the point of graduation to help them put in their best work. It will not work. Number one issue he raised the issue of maybe the first year training corps members into very few years at the camp. These things are done when he or she, in case of emergency, can be taken to do that, can be done at the level of service orientation that is done on camp. It's one of the components of the program already, and we have been going through. I went through it. I can handle a lot of military facilities now to operate with because we were taught within a short while. in case of emergency. So we mustn't take it to 1 year before we say it's achieved. But the issue is the effective implementation of what is supposed to be implemented. Number two, talking about, a meeting of the gap of unemployment and all whatnot. Yes. Let me also inform you.
That is even an essential aspect of it too.
Yes. For me, it is very, very good. The 1 year service, already NYSC have been doing that, preparing us. For those of us who serve just 1 year, we had a lot of opportunities while serving. We have a lot of training while serving. For those of us who were committed during the process, because I know a lot of shortcuts that some of our mates were going through. Some will just come and register, go back to their places in the east or in the west, and then come on the day of POP, personal parade, and collect their certificate and go, not participate in any of the things, CDS and all whatnot we're going through. But I want you to understand that the federal government of Nigeria also have 1 or 2 programs outside of NYSC that are meant to facilitate the transition of graduates from their universities into employment or jobs, as the case may be. Look at ITF, Industrial Training Fund. It's meant to train young people, graduate youth, as they transit into the workplace. You understand now? What about National Directorate of Employment? It's a program that is put by the federal government also for a group of persons who are just coming out of the university and are looking out for jobs. And if you go into these programs, you discover that there are opportunities also by the time you avail yourself to be trained to go into this. So I am thinking that the little NYSC is supposed to do in just 1 year, we also help those who are committed and sincere with the process to access employment. Now, if you say we want to extend it to 2 years, look at the population, the demographics. Look at the population that comes in. Now, batch means stream A, batch 1 A, B, C, and D, or batch A, stream A, B, C. You see hundreds of thousands of core members coming in. How will you work with this kind of population? How will you work with this kind of population to meet up? And then you're keeping them for 2 years. Only in terms of the population they're supposed to keep. What about even the places of primary assignment? Place of primary assignment. So if I keep people for 2 years, means then that the first year some persons are already occupy 1 or 2 places and all whatnot, or privileged opportunities. And then what about the say coming after them? When would they come after them? Means some, when they graduate, they have to also wait for 2 or more years before going for youth service. That is probably what is going to happen if the 2 years is going to be implemented. So for me, the issue is not the issue of duration or period. It's the issue of the effectiveness and efficiency of what the program is meant for and the mandate of the program. That is just what is there. When I talk about efficiency, what am I talking about? The know-how. Do those working at this program, that is NYSC, do they know exactly what they're supposed to do? And if they know, how are they doing it? How are they doing it? How effective are they? If they know, why do they allow shortcuts? If they know, why are they involved in corruption? Receiving money from core members, allow them not to participate in school acquisition or CDS and not even participate in the scheme. Go home, they see somewhere, larry around and do a lot of rubbish and come back with certificates and go. If efficiency and effectiveness is at play, all these things will not happen. It will not happen. And then you see people acquire the needed knowledge and skills and get integrated in the system within 1 year, and they are out for the next thing. So for me, I want to say that 2 years of youth service is not ideal for Nigeria for now, because the disadvantages are more than the advantages.
Anyway, I really wish we had officials of the NYSC joining us, but for their policies of getting clearance from the national headquarters before they appear on such programs wasn't feasible. But you've been itching to respond to something he said. Let me allow you the time.
Okay, thank you so much. Yes. I want to respond to some of the things he has said.
Yes.
One of which is the 3 weeks training at for core members.
That's the
to
orientation camp.
Orientation camp
yeah.
to handle military equipment. It's not sufficient. I will give you an example. In Israel, for instance, they have a similar.
In any case, maybe just for the purpose of the listener out there, the 3 weeks orientation, camp orientation, is just a paramilitary kind of training, not a core military training.
They're supposed to have that paramilitary formation. At least in case of emergency, we're not training them to go into military formation.
Yes.
You know, according to, I think there was a time that, I don't know if it is the current Director General of NYSC or the former one, who said that by the core objectives of NYSC, it means that all core members, all core members are reservists in case of a national emergency. What that means is that in case where, for instance, we don't pray for it, there is a war upon Nigeria.
They could be conscripted.
They could be conscripted to serve as this thing. So it's part of the core objective of NYSC. And that was why there was a time when they mentioned that there was an uproar on social media where core members are saying, they have not even taught to handle this thing. What they even used as training was just merely wood in place of gun. And I was just trying to make a comparison.
Yes.
That in Israel, for instance, is if you are above the age of 15 as an Israeli, you are able to handle gun and do, in fact, very proficient handling with guns and other military equipment.
Maybe Israel is famous for fighting wars.
At the rate insecurity, internal insecurity is the rate at which internal security is occurring in Nigeria. We need more security. What I'm saying in essence is that the idea of NYSC is, first of all, that as a citizen, a responsible citizen of Nigeria who has passed through that scheme, you should be able to defend your country in the instance of emergency. That other countries do it, and they don't do it with the prayer of, okay, we are envisaging war. But some of these things, they happen. So we cannot be more Catholic than the Pope by saying that, okay, we don't pray for war, so we don't train our youth in case of a national emergency. And then there is another thing he mentioned. He's just trying to, seek empathy with the federal government in terms of funding. There is money in this country where the budget for National Assembly will even be more than the budget of the entire nation. How many are lawmakers? And you see a nation where someone will even see billions of dollars. Almost, there are people who see trillion from this Nigeria, and we are still operating at the level we are. So if, let's say, for instance, we mark 1 or 2 trillion that some of these politicians will budget for themselves traveling around the country, and then we are not seeing the resultant effects of some of these things they are doing, and then we channel that money, to thousands or even millions of core members. Our target is not population. The target is to reduce unemployment. And if you are reducing unemployment, you're also reducing insecurity. Because those who even graduate, or those who will finish the NYSC scheme, they will graduate into the society. How many of them? Let's say, for instance, you're having 1 million core members who graduate every year. I can tell you that 90% of them graduate into idleness. They don't have jobs to do, exception for few persons who already have uncles and fathers with job prepared for them. So how about the 80 or 90% of people who graduate into doing nothing because there are no jobs?
Okay.
So if you further their course by another year, they should be able to sustain themselves for a while, save something, and the federal government can even decide to give them 1 million or 500,000. That upon completion of this scheme, you also establish something in terms of business as an individual, or grow into this thing. All these things they mentioned about National Directorate of Employment. How many persons have they given a job? Where jobs are given to lawmakers, to politicians, to give to their allies, and all of that at the expense of very qualified Nigerian youth. That's my thinking, that it's a good skill, though there are advantages, but there is a saying that you can't throw away the baby with the bathwater. So we can try to see, we can sieve the chaff and remain the greens and see how we can restructure NYSC to serve the good of Nigeria.
All right. Dear listener, if you are just tuning in, you are listening to Perspectives on Agate Radio 95.5 Star FM Makudi. We are discussing the call for the extension of National Youth Service Corps to 2 years. And leading the discussion here in the studio, I have Dr. Felix Boise, Senior Lecturer in the Department of Educational Foundations at the Benue State University, Makudi, and of course the Chairman, Benue State Axis of the National Association of Nigerian Students, NANS, Comrade Ojila Yahaya, leading the conversation. At 10 o'clock, minutes away, you can also participate on the program by phoning in on the number 0814-335-9292. The number, once again, is 0814-335-9292. Meanwhile, the SMS line is already activated, and you may utilize it to send your SMS 0912-699-9404. I take it once again, 0912-699-9404. It's also available on WhatsApp. Please remember to include your full name where you are, and of course your address where you are texting your message from. Log on to our website on www.iGateRadioTV.com to listen to us and access other content of our Gate Radio as well. We're available on Radio Garden and on social media platforms. You may also download the iGate Radio and TV app from Google Play Store, which avails you all our platforms. We are there to serve you beyond boundaries. Please join us. Now, Dr. Boa, just before we start engaging with the listener anytime soon, there are some arguments in public domain that the managers of this scheme are even enjoying it, talking about the funding aspect of which you mentioned earlier, and listening to your co-panelists. There are people who argue that the managers of this scheme are even enjoying it more than the core members that it is meant to serve. How true is this, or what would be your reaction in terms of funding, which you mentioned?
Yeah, actually, we have evidence because we researched into it. And it has also been discovered that we have series of corruption in quotas insofar as the program, stakeholders of the program, more especially the system involved. Now, the question is, how true and how sure and how honest is the implementation of the content of the program by the officials of NYSC with the monies that are monthly pushed into the program? The question of sincerity and proper implementation of the items of the program as funded by federal government is the question that we need to answer. Most especially, even NYSC need to answer because they're implementers of this program.
Because, for instance, if you go to the camp, the orientation camp, for instance, even the meal they serve you and the amount that they call that it is budgeted for,
it's not utilized properly.
Yes,
it's not utilized properly. Core members have felt like small children with rations that are not even enough to that can take somebody for a day. If you take a look at it, we've researched into it. So the question of sincerity or honesty in the implementation of the content of the program by NYSC officials is the question that must be answered, because we can see that corruption is on the high side. Number two, their collaboration or partnering with core members in issues of shortcuts. Issue of shortcuts. Core members that are supposed to be on ground to acquire needed skills or serve a particular place for 1 year will just report their places of primary assignment, now go connive with core officials, and sometimes take permission they are not going to be available. There are some engagements elsewhere, and that the core officials should even be receiving their salaries. They don't care about the salary. They have something more important elsewhere to do. And you see some of these core officials collecting the salary, the stipend of these core members from the first month to the last month until they come for even a PO, personal parade, as the case may be. These things are happening. And sometimes even core members themselves, those core members who are elected or appointed to be leaders of various local government and all whatnot, they indulge in this also. You see them collaborate with some of their colleagues or their mates or their core members to perpetuate this. Sign for them when they are going for monthly signing or clearance and all whatnot. Do a lot of things for them. And so you see these people not being on ground and all whatnot. So you see, These are some of the corrupt practices we've witnessed, and we want to inform us that it's still going on in the system. And I also want to say that in terms of funding from the federal government, I am not agitating for the 2 years as proposed. 1 year is okay. What the federal government should do in terms of funding is that as co-members are prepared or given the opportunity to leverage on in terms of skill acquisition, becoming self-reliant, participate in development of the country in terms of, infrastructural development or some of these other CDS units, as the case may be. At the end of the service year, they should be given something substantial that can help them start a business. Those of them who want to start a business. Not until after 2 years, they should be given that money. After 1 year, they should be given that money to start or commence their business after receiving some training or acquire some skills and all that. It mustn't be after 2 years. By the end of 1 year of service, where they've acquired these skills, detailed skills, and they have learned 1 or 2 things and they can, on their own, start operating, they should be given some money at the point of passing out so as to start their own businesses. When this thing is done, I think the service will help us. The issue of employment gap will be covered, and so on and so forth.
Okay. Now, Comrade Yahaya, funding, especially getting the core members properly funded after the program to close the unemployment gap. Because in most of your submission, you are afraid of the rising unemployment and how the NYSC scheme, if extended by 2 years, could close the gap a bit. To what extent would the government properly fund this if initiated?
Well, there is another option, which is, of course, I know many persons are attracted by the 77K. And let's say, for instance, you're going to give them...
Okay, how about you? You say many persons. Are you fascinated by it?
Yes, I'm a prospective core member, but I'm not going for service.
Okay.
I've exceeded the age limit.
Okay.
So I will apply for exemption later.
All right.
But what I'm saying on a general thing is that, okay, if the federal government is willing to say, okay, for the 1 year, you're going to collect your 77K. And then for the other year, you are supposed to do this thing. Okay, we're going to let go of that. Then 77,000 times 12. If it will be given to them to start up something, it's another brilliant idea to me.
Right.
But I'm also particular about the number, how long it will take for you to master such skills as nanotechnology, artificial intelligence, which are national priorities in the age of AI. That is my concern. And we cannot do something at the peripheral level and expect to move and progress speedily as a nation. Okay. Then I want to just quickly react to this issue of corruption in the NYSC. It exists. And not justifying the fact that, not justifying the corruption of, especially by the core members who, instead of serve, they will just have a connection with NYSC official members, and then they will just stay away from their POP. And at the end of the day, they get monthly this thing, and then they bribe the NYSC officials. Now, I'll give you a tip. For instance, I'm serving in Lagos State, where accommodation is high. And let's say, for instance, the accommodation is 300,000, and that is a place of managing. And then what I'm going to eat, transportation within Lagos. So even this 77,000, not to even talk about the 33,000, the 77,000 was just recently implemented. So by the time you do a calculation, in fact, I will even need extra money in order to take care of myself by serving the nation. So what I'm proposing is that if it is not the business of the NYSC officials to stop corruption, human beings are inherently criminals. And until you put effective laws in place to discourage them, they will continue being like that. So what I'm suggesting is that if the NYSC can now bring out a policy that whichever organization is willing to absorb core members should also take responsibility of their accommodation. That will, to an extent, reduce the financial burden, because these core members, they are just trying to dodge expenses. You are paying me 33K, and I'm living in, I have accommodation of 300,000. I have to eat through transportation. Why will I go there when I can just simply give NYSC official 10,000? I'll retain my 20K and still be doing other things. So the federal government must indicate their willingness to stop the NYSC officials from being corrupt. And part of it is that, okay, it is no longer going to be your business to provide food for the NYSC this thing. Every day that they are in the camp, they should be given 5,000 naira. So you just go anywhere and then take care of yourself for that very day. It will even be more effective than whatever they give to them during the orientation this thing, because the NYSC officials have a way of touching it. That's my thinking.
That's right. If they serve you the tea in the NYSC camp, definitely you need to buy more of your stuff and add it to it, because now, Dr. Boa,
Yes.
let's talk about this briefly before we engage with the listener. An aspect, because let's not focus purely on the call for the extension of the service. The minister also advocated the deployment of more graduate teachers to serve in rural schools, which according to him will fill the manpower gap in the schools. You are an educationist. Talk to us about the importance of this if implemented.
All right, thank you very much. I think the deployment of core members to rural schools to teach or to fill the gap that is existing is okay, is correct, but there are issues, there are factors. Number one, I want to inform the general public that every core member from the Faculty of Education, they are not qualified teachers to teach students in schools where they are deployed. In short, if they are deployed to teach in various schools, rural areas and so on and so forth, they are deployed as quack teachers. We call them quack teachers because they have not been trained in the art and science of teaching. And so the level of efficiency and effectiveness will not be there. So are you just pushing them to fill in the gap? What about the process? What about the efficiency of the process, the teaching process, the use of the methodology? Or the andragogies or pedagogies are supposed to be at play in those schools for effectiveness. So deploying core members to go to rural schools and teach now, but it may not solve the problem. It may not solve the problem of teaching and learning. You understand now? To a percentage that will be reasonable, because those core members, most of them that are going in to rural areas to serve or to teach are not from the Faculty of Education. They are not trained teachers. So they may not give the system what the system needs. Secondly, if the service want to use core members, all of them to serve or to teach in various schools, most especially in rural areas, then there should be a time created or a mark for putting core members through, maybe at the camp or after the camp, for just 1 or 2 weeks, through the methodologies of teaching. That can be effective also. In short, I am a friend, wrote a proposal to NYSC at Abuja for this kind of training, that we should be engaged to train core members in the act and science of teaching before they are placed in their places of primary assignment. That, if we allow, we'll do that under consultancy, so that we put them through across the country. We expose them to the nitty-gritty of teaching and learning, so that when they go, they do the bidding correctly. But the proposal is still on. It has not been given approval yet. So for me, the deployment is good. But the question is, will it serve the purpose of which it's supposed to serve for effective teaching and learning is the question. Or are we saying that in the place of having nothing, let's just have something to cover up, as the case may be. So for me, it's a good idea, but something must be done.
Okay, let me have your thoughts on this briefly, briefly before we
yes, let me chip in something. If you care to listen to what the Minister of Education said, it is not just a proposal for the extension of the service years to 2 years. Yes. There are other things he mentioned,
absolutely,
such as
part of which we are talking about.
Specializing the skill. For instance, like what my co-panelists have said about the deployment of teachers to different communities to close the gap. What is there is that if you studied education from the Faculty of Education, you don't have business going to other agency that does not have to do with education. Yeah. They deploy you to go and teach. For instance, you study computer science. There are firms dedicated to computer this thing.
Yeah,
you go
ICT.
there. If you studied economics, there are firms, financial firms. Go there. If you study any course that, I believe that there are agencies and organizations that align with whatever you studied in this thing. So NYSC should prioritize by sending core members to their areas of service that align with their courses, their discipline. It will be more effective. And I believe in that deployment when, for instance, professionally trained teachers, like my co-panelist said, who have undergone the science and art of teaching, send them to school, secondary school, primary school, and all of that. But the schools should also provide them accommodation for effectiveness. So it's a wonderful idea to me.
All right, dear listeners, stay with us. We'll take a short breather, and when we are back, we'll start engaging with you. Perspectives will be right back. With us. If you are just tuning in, you are listening to Perspectives on Agate Radio 95.5 Star FM Makudi. Today on the program, our discussion is focused on calls for the extension of the National Youth Service Corps to 2 years. You can call in on the number 0814-335-9292. The number once again is 0814-335-9292. Once you connect with us, we'd like to know your full name and where you're calling from. Let's remind you again, the views and opinions of our panelists and callers on this program are solely their own and do not necessarily reflect the editorial policy of Agate Radio. Hello, good morning. Hello. Oh, lost connection with you already, but the line is still open. Good morning and welcome to Perspectives.
Yes, good morning, my brother.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, this is Mike Oguche. I'm calling from High Level this morning.
All right, good to have you join us, Mike Oguche.
All right, thanks very much. This program in response to the Honorable Minister's suggestion. First, I want us to have the background that we churn out 600,000 graduates every year. Now, that is a critical mass that can change the fortunes and direction of any country.
I'm sorry, Mike Oguche, this is your figure. Is it according to National Bureau of Statistics or according to Mike Oguche in High Level?
No. This is from this. You can.
The figure was too. You were too certain about it, so I needed us to validate it. But
I wanted to speak to the figure, so I went to check it before this call.
Okay, that's fine.
All right, so like I was saying, this is a critical mass that any nation that deliberately and intentionally drives some change around them would be able to achieve something different and substantial. We cannot be doing the same old things and expect different results. So first, I want to say that it's a good idea, aligned completely with the Honorable Minister, because 1 year is not enough. Like one of your panelists said there, to gain any 21st century life-changing skills in AI, in nanotechnology, or any other critical life-changing skill, 1 year is not enough. All the deliberate measures. So I think it's a good thing. Now, how can that happen? I think core members, as soon as they get to camp, not every one of them can, because some of them come to register to be entrepreneurs, to do other things. So that can happen at the orientation camp. And then during the 2 years, you can form those of them that become very, very, very skillful during the process. They can form themselves into cohorts that become job employers, not job seekers. Those that want to become job seekers, they will take their own path and specialize, like the Honorable Minister said. And then those that also read education, they will further be fortified with some practical experiences and training. And then those are the ones that will go there they will feed the rural schools and all the other schools. So you also have impact on the quality of education, not only in the urban areas, but also in the rural areas. So those things that we're talking about in terms of the technology that they can appreciate in during the service year, that is what a lot of people, a lot of young people would be able to drive towards. Now, like was also said there, the critical mass of our corpers are people who come from these humble backgrounds and people that are hungry to learn new skills. Let me also say here that, like somebody that said the red English there, you don't have to stay with English. In those 2 years, you can venture into computer appreciation if you're passionate about that, and you become excellent. You can become a programmer. You can do other things
All right.
apart from the English that you actually read there. So
Thank you,
I think
Mike.
it's a very, very wonderful one. Thank you very much.
We appreciate you for calling. Thanks for your opinion. Okay. Mike is in support of that and, of course, has backed up his claim with reasons why the extension should be made necessary at this time. Hello, good morning. Thank you for joining us on Perspectives.
Yeah, good morning,
Welcome to the
Nathaniel.
program. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. This is Agata Usu Paul at Baka Baptist High School, Achusa.
Okay, good to have you. Agata also who?
Paul,
Paul. Thank you.
thank you, sir. Um, I look at it into this direction. I feel government should do more into training the graduates into skills learning in their area of specialization, where at least 1 year will be taken fully for training the corpers into any handwork that at the end of the day, without employment, they will be saved employment. This handwork they have learned for a whole year. I feel this will take most of the students out of being jobless on the street after being graduating from the university. You can set a job on your own through the skills you learn for this whole year. I feel that will help the country to grow wide and big into industrialization. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Paul, for your opinion. All right. Well, this program is perspective, so we accommodate diverse perspectives as far as they align with what we are discussing, and the line is available for you to offer your thoughts. So
Hello?
good morning.
Yeah, good morning there.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. My name is Wilfred Adegene from North Bank.
Thank you, Mr. Adegene, for joining us.
Thank you. The topic is a good one. The discussion is going to be extensive on your table this morning because it's an interesting topic that affects everybody. But I have a reservation for that suggestion of 2 years for coppers.
Okay, let's hear your reservation.
The training of anybody should start from the cradle for effectiveness. In the schools across the board, polytechnics, colleges of education, and universities, there are courses they call GST courses. I think we need to change our formula for educational programs. If we have 2-3 hours in a week or every day for GST courses, why don't we now open the system of teaching in such a way that that becomes a practical aspect of teaching the various areas of skills we expect these corpers to learn in the camp. During their service of the proposed 2 years. At this time, it is part of their educational curriculum, if it is accepted like that. And everybody is built into the area of specialization that he wants right from the university. In the camp, he now knows that he's trained in so and so area for a skill. Then, look at the historical perspective of the present 1-year system. We have 3 batches of corpers, ABC. And I think that is done because of 1, lack of space. Yes. 2, the financial implication of lumping the 3 batches together in one. And then several other reasons may have given rise to adopting the 3-batch system of corpers. So if the lack of space is not taken care of, and you are introducing a 2-year system, at the end of the day, the corpers that go to service within 1 year or so for the 3 batches will begin to have to wait at home for up to 4-5 years before they get to go to service, because the space is not created to accommodate the corpers that are the students that are turned out every year for service to be taken at one stretch for 2-year batch.
Okay.
Then number 3,
Mr.
we
Adegene,
discovered that our employment system.
I will beg that we end here. Thank you so much for making your points.
Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate you. Let's end here so we allow other opinions as well. In any case, you have made your points quite elaborately. We appreciate you for calling in. Good morning and welcome to Perspectives.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Pick up 59292. The SMS line is also available. If you are not able to get through to the call line, simply send an SMS to 0912-699-9404. Good morning and thank you for joining us on the program.
Good morning, Nathaniel.
Good morning, sir.
It's the Paris in the studio.
Hello.
Yes, I'm with you.
Yes, let's know your name and where you are calling from.
My name is Takuruku Anyamazinga. I'm calling from Abese Bayon, Boko local government.
All right.
This is directly our youth that have been in education and are almost to complete their studies, and then they are to go into the community, and then for the purpose of integration. That is what Yakubu Gowon does. So we must appreciate the minister for giving us that the benefit of that they will be serving us for 2 years. It's commendable. And then the government should not compromise this process. This youth has a great to do concerning our country. So they have to be taken care of. If they are there for 2 years, let their allowances be given to them. Let everything that is to be given to them so that they will do it successfully and come out successfully for the development of this country and the youth. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Anyamazinga, we appreciate you for calling in. 0814-335-9292. The SMS line is 0912-699-9404. Good morning and thank you for joining us on the program. Hello. Oh, we lost connection with you. Quite unfortunate, but the line is available. Good morning. Hello. Oh, really? Well, we're here. We'll try as much to accommodate. Hello, good morning. Maybe the network is getting to fail us now. Hello, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Oh, you are on, but we can barely hear you. 0814-335-9292. Part of the challenges the government should also look into is to improve the network and not just the NYSC. Hello, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning to guests in the studio.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, I am Engineer Sunday Akba. I'm calling from North Bank Market.
All right, Sunday Akba.
Thank you very much for the topic. NYSC was established in 1933, and I beg to say that I was a member of the 11th set. I served in 1984. And our set, that time, NC graduate was also serving.
Okay.
Because of financial challenge and population, that was the last set that they allowed NC to serve. Then it's only university graduate and polytechnic. 1984-85 set, but I check it out. Now, look at the number of the taxes that are being approved every year or every day by the National Advisory Commission. Look at the population rather being churned out. I can tell that this 2-year proposal is not practicable. What we can do is erase corruption totally. What is happening now? 1 year is enough. We also have the established federal university colleges that time. Thank God I also went to federal government college in Warri in those days. For integration, national integration, the basic aim of NYSC for national integration, federal unity school for national integration after the war. So it's not about acquisition of skills. They can acquire the skills in the institution. Why do people go to university? Why do people go to polytechnic? They acquire their skills from there. Then the NYSC is for national integration. But the aim is being defeated now. People lobby to serve in their own home state. So initiative of the NYSC was brought about by the founding fathers.
Okay.
And the corruption should be totally erased. If they do that, I bet you 1 year is enough to do everything to keep, bury, and exhume for the betterment of this country. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sunday. We appreciate you for calling in and telling us when you served. In any case, corruption, you say, should be eradicated. And of course, 2 years not practicable. Some of the takeaways from your points. Hello, good morning.
My name is Sunday Ochiu.
Sunday Ochiu, where are you reaching us from?
I'm calling you from Demegwe, Makodi.
Good. Go ahead, please.
Okay, thank you for that topic you brought. Me, I'm not in support of 2 years program. Why? Because the discussants have seen many things about disadvantage of that 2 years. If you are now allowing a youth corps to serve for 2 years, what happened to the other graduates that are coming behind? Because we graduate students every year, and we expect them to serve. That is first disadvantage. Secondly, if somebody is going to serve and for 2 years, and you are telling him or her to undergo military training for 1 year, are all of them going to be recruited as a military personnel? And if you train somebody this weapon as a military person or force personnel, and he go back to the society, why are we having many insurgents? Why we have never even trained them? And many of those people that is terrorizing the country now as an insurgent, some of them are graduates that have no job. So let us focus what the Yakubu Gowon has brought for us, for integrated into a society. We learn other people's culture and unite together. That is the aim of that program.
All right.
Not to go and learn any skill there. Because when you are in university, you go for IT.
Thank you.
What is the meaning of going for that IT?
Sunday Ochiu, thank you.
I see no reason why they should extend it.
All right. Thanks for calling in. In any case, this with modern priorities. So even if that was not the cardinal objective for its funding, it's been part of it now. Hello, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning. Welcome to Perspectives.
Thank you very much, sir. Yes, can you hear me, sir?
Very well. You are on. We can hear you.
Okay. Yes, my name is Vince Ako. I'm calling from Ishabakut Road.
All right, Vincent, go ahead, please.
Okay, my regards to your guest in the studio, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, I must say the truth. I'm not in support of this extension of NYSC to 2 years. Because the one that we are having now, they cannot fund them properly. As a matter of fact, I know many people that even the 1 year service, they are still complaining that the thing is too much. How much 2 years? 1 year should continue. And whoever wants to disembark should disembark. It shouldn't be mandatory. And I also want to say that the honorable minister did not even specify whether the people that are supposed to be deployed to the rural area will be people that has knowledge about education.
Just explain to you, to be fair to the minister, he said graduate teachers.
Okay.
So he did not just say every corps member. He said corps members that are graduate teachers. Right. Anyway, conclude your thoughts. I just needed to make that clear.
There's no problem about that. Thank you, sir. I want to say that it shouldn't be mandatory.
Okay.
The 1 year, yes, the 1 year should be enough. Anybody that says he or she wants to continue, the person should continue.
Okay,
Thank you very much,
Vincent, before you go, they are paying corps members 77,000 now. Let's continue from 1 year not to pay 77K and allow others to continue earning it, right?
Sir, let me tell you the truth. They are just saying they will not pay. That is just the plain truth. But even though they are 2%, what would 77,000 do for anybody?
Okay, then.
Yes, that's just the truth.
All right, thank you, Vincent. That's by the way, I appreciate your openness on the subject matter. In any case, they are paying at least some members I mean, the 7 core members have started receiving their last to that effect. Hello, good morning. Hello. Okay, so many opinions coming in. We'll accommodate all. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Good morning. Welcome to Perspectives.
Yes, welcome. Mr. Jonah back on the line.
Okay, Jonah, to Jonah who again?
Jonah Benjamin from Nakagwa.
Very well. How is Naka this morning, Jonah?
Thank God, it's very fine.
All right, go ahead, please.
Yes, I first greet the guests in the studio.
Thank you.
Mine is appeal to federal government about this NYSC. Hello?
Very well, Jonah. You are live. Go on.
Yes, I'm not listed the orientation camp or absent in this from any official activities with himself from. Hello?
Jonah, you are interested? Just go on. I will not be responding bit by bit to everything you are saying, but we're listening to you. Usually when somebody is talking, you listen, but you are on. If we have lost connection, not getting you again, I'll be the first to prompt you.
Okay.
Yes.
So any member who leaves the camp without the permission from the state coordinator, they should be tried by the camp court, and if found guilty by be able to be camping and sent out of the camp. So for me, that's my appeal to federal government.
Okay, Jonah, thank you for calling in. Okay, 0814-335-9292. A few more calls and then we'll try to accommodate some of the messages we have had coming in. Good morning and welcome to Perspective.
Saturday night is okay. Because if you make it 2 years, what about the other people who are graduating now? What would you do? So I am of the opinion that the federal government should be thinking about and pay them money to start the business immediately they leave. You look at today in this country today, we have a lot of problems. If our children can learn skills in their schools, and when they go to NYSC, they train them. If you come out, you don't need to wait for a colorful job. You need to do something. So I am government going on saying that they should stay for 2 years, which will be some of them maybe helping the staff or the workers at the NYSC corrupt. It's very, very good for them to make sure that these children finish time and leave so that other people can pass.
Okay.
Thank you very much. God bless I get radio and bless everyone.
Hello, good morning and thank you for joining us on Perspectives. Hello, good morning. Oh, we lost connection with you. Quite unfortunate. Good morning. The network seems to be unfriendly now, but we're here. Let's hear from the prospective core members as well. For core members that are serving, maybe they are afraid that they may be sanctioned because they have been asked not to speak to the media. But that's okay. Hello, good morning.
Anya, I'm calling from Lower Benue.
Did you say N. Toby?
Yes, sir.
Okay, M. Toby Manuel, thank you. Go ahead.
I want to especially greet your guest. I like to agree completely with the submission of Dr. Bua and most of the callers, saying that the extension actually is not very necessary as we speak. What we really need at the time is a Senate committee that is in charge of NYC to supervise the activities of NYC. Because as we speak, the NYC, those that are deployed to various organizations, they are not even reporting in the offices. Neither are they available to be taught official procedures in their place of primary assignment. So the essence is being defeated to a large extent. So a situation where a core member is deployed to an organization and is not even there, it becomes a liability to that organization. They needed him, he's not there. But a situation where the minister and other persons are advocating for extension, extending for a liability over a core member who doesn't even show up. So I think the national NYC issue is supposed to be overhauled, the activity to be looked on so that it will be geared towards achieving the aim of establishing the commission. Thank you.
All right, N. Toby Emmanuel, thank you very much for calling in. Anyway, I don't think the officials of the NYC will be happy hearing that you're calling for them to be investigated. But that's okay. This is what this program opens to. So if the authorities find it necessary, no problem. Hello, good morning. Hello. We lost connection with you already. Thank you for joining us on Perspectives.
Good morning, Natanongo. Good morning, Jason House.
Good morning.
Morning.
My name is Stefa S.T. Kiluke, calling from KN, Kano, northwest part of Nigeria this morning.
Very well.
Well, me extending core member year is not, to me, government should not extend it unless if they serve and they want to return back on their own and they want to continue with the scheme. Because most cases, they do complain some logistic non-accommodation, even their federal monetary allowances. It's just now that they added. Before, the thing was not take home coupled with this economic hardship. So, in 1 year mandatory, I know skill acquisition has been trained on them. So, to me, it's left for them. Even 1 year, someone can learn something tangible by the time that they will come outside, they will still learn it and open a small scale business and start with their life. But extending their core year is a good step. So to me, let them on their own. If they want to stay, they can stay. But government should not impose it.
All right.
That is my take this morning.
Thank you, Tefa Kiluke. We appreciate you for your take. Let's take some messages. In any case, when Toby called, he also mentioned some core members who abscond. They are not available at their places of assignment, and you want to extend for them. In any case, let's take some messages. We'll come back. Ugaji Teso says he's watching us live from Mina in Niger State. Thank you, Ugaji, for following us. This is from our live stream feed. And Demisu John Paul Mary is also watching us from Taraba State. Thank you, Demisu. And he has dropped a message here. What is the importance of these paramilitary training skills? After all, these NYC members will not be employed as military personnel. Okay, Demisu. All right, that's quite a rhetorical one. But you need the paramilitary training in case of when we're there, we were told is also for self-defense. Self-defense has become a concept now. That is so. Let's take some messages before we come back. This one says, good day, the guest and presenter in the studio. It's very unfortunate that the research result in which many development in all aspects, be it in defensive mechanism, agricultural development, economic prosperity, sporting exhibition, and all that we have. Conclusively, if individuals, private organizations, and government institutions come, their authorities studied valuable policies of short and long-term planning adopted for youth of this country, our country will be one of the best. What then happens to 2 years awaiting prospective corps members after graduating from school? Military don't train corps members on the use of arms. They only train. No need for 2 years skin. Adon Yolomo from welfare quarters. Okay, Adon Yolomo, thank you. Anyway, the training is done.
It's beyond just matching.
Yeah, so some of the things. This one says, good morning to you. I am Zungwen John from North Bank, Makudi. I am crying at the thought that I may have to spend 2 years in NYC as it will affect my business. I think the 1 year should be maintained, but if it must be done, then they should take the second year. They should make the second year optional. Zungwen John, feel free. Good morning, presenter and your guests in the studio. My name is Kanti Michael from Gado Villa. Nigerian leaders will always wait for people to pay them visits before they will begin to make fake and unnecessary promises. The primary aim of NYC has not been fully met. 2 years for NYC is not the problem for corps members, but rather Nigerian government should make it a law for all corps members to have automatic employment after their 1 year of service. Thank you. Okay. County Mike making an advocacy there. After your 1 year of service, automatic employment. Well, it used to be like that. So we heard. I don't know what changed. Good morning. Godwin from Modern Market. Okay, Godwin, you didn't specify your full name. From Modern Market, I agree with the first panelist. Extending the program is not the best. They should rather strengthen the system and be sincere in their dealings. If they must extend, then NYC should be made optional and employers should stop requesting NYSC discharge for jobs. Okay, I think that's part of what Yahya was also saying. Work experience, because when you spend so many years serving, and after that, you are demanded of an experience shorter than your age. Hello, good morning. A few more calls before we come back. Good morning. Hello, you are on. Talk to us. Okay. Quite unfortunate you're on, but we can't hear you. A few more engagements, and then we'll come back to our guest in the studio. Good morning, and thank you.
Daniel Tena from your given on the line.
Okay, good to have you here, Daniel Tena.
Yes, I want to appreciate you so much. In fact, the Marginals I get is doing a great job. May God strengthen you to bring the more programs.
Amen.
To encourage us.
Thanks for your kind words. We're encouraged,
Yeah,
Daniel.
you see, I just joined tuning, but I know that if we are talking about to extend that, the thing is extending about this thing. You see, 2 years. If you say you extend 2 years for this youth service, it might be going another way, but it may not be good. Because I know that how they program it is, the thing do right with the school system. So now, if you say that you extend it, maybe how the year that the student need to graduate before they go to the service is not good. So as for me, I think that 1 year is enough, so that you will pass out, another set too will pass out. There are some people, God bless them, as they are serving there. From there, when they pass out, they have their own job there. Let me, in fact, just a quick one. Let me tell you that one of my guys just came back to Bruno yesterday. He's the guy that I knew him. The guy was fat, was fair. Nathaniel, when I saw that guy yesterday in the church, I was able to know him. Because the kind of son that beat that guy, and the guy lean, he told me that guy, Oga, it's not easy for me. So, no, on serious note, it's joke apart. The guy told me that, Oga, there is something there, but let him come and rest so that you know where he can come back. So, okay, like now maybe they say that the sentence is 2 years. Maybe the guy could have not make it. So me, 1 year is enough. What's enough? It's how you work. Maybe thank you so much.
Daniel, we appreciate you for calling in. It's quite funny. I do not mean to trivialize what you are saying, but the way you put it is very funny. And of course, all the same, we thank you for supporting that NYSC be maintained for 1 year. Hello, good morning, and thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Nathaniel.
Good morning, sir.
That is the voice of Mark Anwangi, the father from here, the Gwelo.
Okay, good to have you, Mike.
Thank the guest in the studio.
Thank you.
You know the decision made by the Honorable Minister for the extending 2 years service for the core member. For me, I think it's unacceptable because, as other caller mentioned,
Mark, this is not a decision. This is just a proposal. He is only suggesting. So a decision has not been implemented.
If you are suggesting to a particular issue, that is how you aim is. So based on our contribution, for me, seek employment for the extending the.
Now, Dr. Boa, I will somehow line with maybe never there until the day.
Earlier, when I was report, and then
maybe, also mention North Central, so that it's not just East-West.
East-West, North Central, and even North.
Yes.
So they have gone, they run away, come back at the day of POP. I think it has been a trend. Even now, it's happening. I think effective supervision for the program. And also for the core members as patriotic citizens or core members, they should do the right thing at the right time. That 1 year must be 1 year of sacrifice for the nation. 1 year of learning. 1 year of reflecting on who you are and what you want to become in life and what your contributions are going to be or look like in society. So if you look at that and if you look at it from this angle, I think youth service will be very, very good. Some of us reflected, and we're enjoying today. I utilized my 1 year of service very, very well. In short, my place of primary assignment employed me, but I refused that. I won't work there. I have something better to do here in Benue State, and I came back. They employed me. I served in Sokoto State, I was teaching with Sultan Abubakar College.
Was it because the sun there was terrible, like Daniel?
No, I was not. I didn't refuse because of the sun.
I think you ran away from the sun.
No, it was not at all.
Okay.
So apart from my place of primary assignment, Sultan Abubakar College, Sokoto, I was having a place of secondary assignment too because I wanted to utilize the year very well. I was at the same time working with Vitaphone Company in Sokoto. After my primary assignment, I closed by 2. I moved to Vitaphone Company so as to learn 1 or 2 skills, salesman skill. I acquired it from Vitaphone. I know what, and they were paying me a stipend. I collect some stipend from the school, collect from NYSC, collect from Vitaphone. And this was enough for me to run some of my things, and I was also saving. By the time I rounded up my service, I had huge savings that helped me do 1 or 2 things while back to Makodi, and so on and so forth. So I think those who are running away from their place of service, they are not doing justice or they are not doing good at all, and checked very well.
Okay, now, Comrade Yahya, you also listen to the callers. And I will allow you to comment, especially those who made reservations that already the graduates, of Nigeria, many, almost every year, the number of graduates churned out that will likely be prospective corps members is much. So if you maintain it 2 years, the backlog will be much. How do you react to this?
Well, let me give you an analogy.
Yes, please do.
You are married, and let's say in a village, and apart from companion, you also have the intention of producing children, and then probably in your village there is no any primary or secondary school, and so you say, okay, because there is no primary or secondary school, you are not going to give birth. It means you are not thinking like a human being, where yourself can even begin the process of even introducing a primary and secondary school in your own village, and you are making a history. What I'm saying in essence is this: there is no policy introduction that does not come with re-evaluation and introduction or exit. It means that they have to look at their capacity to accommodate the Nigerian graduates that are prospective corps members. And this will even implicate, it has financial implications. It means that in a state, for instance, they will have to expand the NYSC center from 1 to even 3 or 4. And I know you are not thinking that the federal government does not have the financial capacity to do this. Where, for instance, part of what I'm happy about is that this is just like the minister has thrown it to the public.
Yes.
To get it's just a cross-fertilization of ideas. And we are not just looking at the extension of the years, we are looking at other things. And that is why I said earlier that NYSC was founded principally because of national integration. But events in recent times have overshadowed that national integration. We have more pressing issues. NYSC can also be expanded to serve as a nexus, a link between the Nigerian universities and the workforce. And that is where the second year come in. And someone like me, I am not hard on my opinion. If you are saying, okay, it's going to take time and all of that, 1 year is enough. Of course, if the second year will be made optional, it will be a fine idea. But I can promise you that once the federal government implements this policy today, I can tell you that 80% of people of prospective corps members want to serve for 2 years. And the reasons are clear. Those persons who are saying that, okay, the 2 years is enough, is that, for instance, I have a friend.
The 1 year is enough.
Yeah, 1 year is enough.
And some also supported that even if it is 2 years, it should be optional. If you want to serve for 1 year, you should be better.
Even if you make it optional, I can tell you that 80% of people will choose the option of extending the another
It's an
year.
assumption anyway.
77K is not this,
An assumption.
What I'm saying is that, okay, some persons, okay, during the this thing, some has come.
Okay.
The principal reason for us coming their duties,
From the place of primary assignment.
place of primary assignment is principally because the 33,000 naira was woefully not enough.
It's not self-sustaining.
It's not self-sustaining. Now you have increased it to 77K. That is a principal reason. One other reason is that other core members also have businesses. Others are even doing other private jobs and all of that.
Maybe the next increment in the minimum wage it may go beyond. So
it may go beyond that. And let's say, for instance,
don't quote me. I'm only thinking.
So the reason is that I can tell you that 80% of people will choose the option of a second year because, for instance, I don't have a business, and then the government is offering me an opportunity to learn and also earn for another 1 year, even if they want to make it optional. Yeah, I will choose the second option now so that I'll be receiving my 77K and also be looking for other things to do. But what I am looking at is not the extension of a year per se. I'm looking at the total overhauling, especially the second year that is principally dedicated to AI learning, nanotechnology, and some of these things. It will help further the course of a Nigerian.
But the issue is, how long will it take one to go through AI learning?
At
most, it's even 6.
I'll beg to interrupt your thoughts briefly. Let me engage with a few more persons before we wrap up. Hello, good morning. Hello. Good morning. Oh, we are on, but your voice is not coming through. 0814-335-9292. Just one more call and then we'll go. Hello, good morning. Hello. Well, yet again, we lost the connection. Well, I think with the network the way it is, we may not be able to accommodate more costs. Now, Dr. Boa, continue your thoughts.
Yeah, I was saying that how long will it take one to be trained in AI? At least in some packages, or be exposed to some of the areas that are very critical. Like for those of us in education or in the universities in the area of research and development or writing of projects and all whatnot. How long will it take? At most, for a certificate course that is satisfying, is about 6 months. Some is even less than 2 months, or 2 months you have it. Even on a service year to 2 years, that some of these things will be achieved. They could be achieved within a year. What I'm saying is that let them to enable them start something. Most especially those of them who will discover that they have the business mindset, and are actually being trained and certified to make use of this money.
Yes.
Be given to them to go ahead and but at the point of graduation, they have government jobs. You don't need necessarily to begin to, give them money to do this.
Because the white-collar jobs, like the government keeps saying, are grossly inadequate, and there is no way with the number of graduates we are producing that the jobs may go round. The business aspect of it, like you mentioned.
Yes, if they give them money, they can start their own businesses and employ others, as the case may be.
I think what I'm thinking is that I think we're missing something.
Okay.
The training for NYSC is just, when they are deployed to their PPA, do they do any other learning again, apart from this exception of a community service? The training skills and other things, just 3 weeks. When they are in the camp, they are introduced to different skills. And then after that, they are posted to different, PPAs. And the manner of the post, what we are saying by this overhauling is that, there will be a time for, paramilitary, let's say we're saying we'll send you to your areas of specialization, your hands-on experience with practical this thing. Someone who has studied computer science should also be learning AI and other things. I'm not saying that all of them must learn AI or this thing. Right. Whatever specialized skills you are learning must be tailored towards your discipline and your discipline. For specialized this in 3 weeks for the training of the skills is woefully inadequate.
All right. Our time is no longer there. I'm so sorry. The line is still buzzing, but we may not be able to accommodate more calls because our time is up already. Let's take a few messages here and then we'll conclude. Sir, the extension of NYSC scheme will broaden horizon of the core members if government could cater for them. If government could cater for them to educate. Good morning, panelists. Isaac Utua from Daudu Anchihat Sejima. Okay, Isaac, thank you for your message. This one, it says a mem. A mem. Kurayem from Logo. I would rather encourage, you didn't specify which part of Logo anyway. I would rather encourage the integration of colleges of education into the scheme instead of extending the time frame. Wow. So, okay, Dr. Boa.
Yes.
Let's comment on this briefly. Like Sunday Akbar mentioned earlier, Of course, at the inception of the NYSC,
Yeah,
people
NCE holders were also serving.
So now that even the universities alone, the population is huge.
It's huge,
Yet
massive.
again, Kulayem is calling for the integration of colleges.
No,
Is that feasible?
No, it's not feasible. It's not tenable now, because even only tertiary institutions, that is, only universities.
Yes, and
polytechnics.
Yes,
we are finding very difficult to cope with. Yes, look at a stream we have batch A, B, and C going out. That's and all whatnot. It's overwhelming. That is the reason why they were cut out of the program around 1985, 86. And they no longer.
There's still an issue, even though the minister commended NYC for solving the dichotomy. And if you want to bring NC into it now,
that's another thing.
You'll be creating another dichotomy. Well, we do not have time, Yahya. I will allow you just 1 minute to give your concluding thoughts.
Yeah, my concluding thought is that when you say that integrating the NC into the NYC is not feasible, we are limiting the capacity of the government. I don't believe in limiting the capacity of a government.
Okay.
I believe in if you want to do a thing, you sit down, analyze it critically. Now, this is what we want to do. We want to expand. What are the financial implications? What are the logistical implications? Can we meet the expectations? If the minister who understands the implications of some of these things want to say, okay, we want to extend it to 2 years. Of course, he understands that there are, it will be expanded. Now, the decision is to work on the capacity of a government to meet the expansion and everything.
All right. Anyway,
so but another part of this thing to NYC, the only thing I have with this is that, for instance, I went to a College of Education, ANKPA. You understand?
Okay.
But if you had given me opportunity to serve, I wouldn't have served because I wanted a degree. So if, for instance, after NCE, there are a lot of persons who were given admission to NCE, it was not that they intentionally chose it. The JAM just gave them admission. There are a lot of them who are aspiring. Discouraging part, I'm seeing it. But saying that, okay, it will not be feasible, we are limiting the capacity of the government. This government, a lot of persons are eating money. And we are thinking, yes.
Okay, comrade, let's stop at that, because you union people have a way of believing that the government is eating money. But that's okay. It's a semblance of. Recently, I read where a vice chancellor of a private university was calling on the government to ensure that private universities also enjoy the funding of TED Fund.
Yeah.
Well, maybe one of these days I'll take a conversation on that.
Right. Yeah.
Give us your concluding thoughts on this in 30 seconds, because our time is totally.
It's all right. Thank you very much, Nathaniel and listener. I think it is very clear that 1 year mandatory service is okay. What we need to do, or what the government need to do, or other key stakeholders like officials of NYSC and also core members, is to be sincere with the system. Let them be sincere with the system. Let honesty prevail. Let dedication and commitment to the program or various areas of the program be adhered to. Let the standards and benchmarks that have already been established for the program be adhered to. When we do this, we will enjoy it. We will enjoy it, and we will be happy serving just for a year, and then we'll have our way out to leverage on some other opportunities in the society to work and bless others.
All right. Dr. Felix Bois is a senior lecturer in the Department of Educational Foundations at the Benue State University, Makurdi, and Comrade Mande Yahya Ojila is the Benue State Chairman, Axis of the National Association of Nigerian Students, NANS. This gentleman joined us on this edition of Perspectives with our focus on call for the extension of NYC to 2 years. I thank you both for your valuable insights and you on the program. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dear listener, that's our program today. Join us on Wednesday for a fresh edition of Perspectives. I am Nathaniel Nongo. Have yourself a great week ahead. Goodbye.